Magandang araw mga kaproyekto. Welcome to Proyekto Pilipino. At ito, sorry, nagbabalik bayan din ako na wala ako ng maraming linggo. And welcome again, Leloy. And
Hi,
Dr.
Pads.
Cuevas, welcome po to our show. And thank you for joining us today. No? Ang ating episode ngayon, we'd like to talk about, of course, health issues. No? But kasama ho natin, we're very lucky to have with us today, Dr. Cuevas, who is probably one of the leading experts. Nagulat si Dr. Cuevas. No, in public health education. No? And then she has a wealth of experience in dealing with public health education and managing, especially in managing the health crisis in the country now. So, Dr. Cuevas, welcome to the show and thank you for giving us this privilege to hear what to talk about and to hear experience, no?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to discuss this po.
Okay.
I want to start, Father, with yung discipline ng ating guest, ng ating panuuin, yung public health. Kasi by the term itself, public, di ba? Civics na yun. This is a civic show. And when we talk about public health, that's part of civics. So on a sobrang abstraktong nivel, Doc, pakipaliwanag po sa amin kung ano ang tungkulin ng isang public health practitioner.
Okay, it's interesting, Laloy, because actually, when I think about it, lalo na as a medical doctor, public health hindi siya usually yung route na kinukuha ng mga doctor. No? Usually, we like to go into specialization or clinical work. But in my practice, parang na-fix ko yung understanding ko of public health as being a doctor of populations. No? So it's really looking at, for example, if I'm looking at something like hypertension, hindi ko dinadaanan na one patient at a time. So I'm looking at interventions that will address the things that lead to hypertension. And it's really a mix of different strategies. So either pwede sa system, sa policy yung approach mo, pwede sa community level, or pwede din sa parang mga ibang elemento that feed into the things that produce health. No? So it could be, looking at the system from the building blocks, pwede sa workforce, pwede sa technology. So it's really tackling problems, hoping to effect massive change quickly. Although it's paradoxical because mabagal talaga ang work sa public health. But if you get it right, you're able to really impact a lot of people. No? So it's kind of like being a doctor for society or for communities or really looking at populations. So that's my way of understanding it, because when we go into jargon, it becomes a little too parang isolating.
So, doctor, it's very research based and research driven.
It's a mix, but you do want to be evidence-based, no? So
Okay,
dapat
okay.
nag-feed ang research into it. So kung tingnan po natin, sobrang daming players. So you have,
Ma'am,
yes,
before I am sure Lele wants to deepen some points, but para lang wag kong makalimutan, can we discuss later how we can encourage communities to create public health centers based on your experience, no?
of course, we can discuss it po
Yeah,
later.
para lang hindi ko makalimutan, Lele. But go ahead, Lele.
Sige.
Deepen your
Yeah,
question.
I'm interested in that actually, Fads, doon din ako pupunta kasi
Okay.
before tayo mag-tape, kinikwentuhan tayo ni Doc na ang experience niya ng public health is sumuong siya sa baryo, naging doctor for the
Yes.
baryo siya. And alam ko ang sumikat diyan, medyo tumatanda na rin ako, ang memories ko niyan si Dr. Flavier, former
Yeah.
DOH Flavier, who wrote a series of books on what it means to be a doctor for the barrios na actually binasa ko rin yon nung bata ako. So what is that like? What is being a doctor for the barrios like, and how does that inform your practice as a public health practitioner?
So being a doctor to the barrio, no? So just as a background, sumali po ako sa DTTV program ng DOH noong 2019. And what that program does is it deploys doctors or other health workers to places na wala talagang doktor. No? So, as far as Turtle Islands, yung batchmate ko, first doctor, Turtle Islands in Tawi-Tawi. No, it will send doctors there, and they're in charge of not just providing health services. So that's a component of the work. But if you're assigned as the municipal health officer in charge, you essentially become part ng LGU. And you're the
Mhm.
one in charge of the programs, the public health programs. So DOH has 50. So pwede natin isipin na may programa para sa diabetes, sa high blood, may programa para sa bakuna, may programa para sa nutrition, sa mga infectious disease. So kami din yung tumitingin doon, no? So yung goal namin is to set up the system other than just providing services. Mag-set up ng sistema na accessible and also will affect the change in the health outcomes na tinitingnan natin, no? So, pwede kung ilang mga bata ang nabakuna, how many children are protected from diseases. It can be how many women are getting the right nutrition when they're pregnant, how many
Mhm.
children are getting the right nutrition when they're pregnant. So, it's really a it's really a comprehensive parang scope of work in terms of your assignment. And yung nagiging konteksto niya is because you're in places na doctorless, typically mas challenge sila. No?
Yeah.
So, challenge developmentally. It could be it's one of the poorest provinces. It's a very far-flung area. Yung friend ko na na-assign sa Turtle Islands, his travel from Zamboanga was I think 17 hours by boat.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it's really kind of going deep into the ground and trying to be part of the community. So the dynamics of the practice of medicine is very different.
So, doktora, ang basic dynamics is preventive, no?
Yes, kasi
It's the
primary care,
program is a prevention type of program, no? That's more the philosophy, no?
it ideally is kasi primary care ang role
Mhm.
namin. No?
Yeah.
So typically pag iniisip natin ng kalusugan or sistemang pangkalusugan, we think about hospitals. Pero hospitals medyo may sakit na.
Yes,
Sakit
yes.
na yung mga tao. Yung role sa communities, nandun ka, kilala ka ng tao, sinasamahan mo sila sa mga different life stages ng buhay nila so that you can kind of equip them with the
Mhm.
skills para ma-prevent yung mga medyo mas difficult cases to manage.
Yeah.
That's super interesting for me because yun nga parang doktor ng lipunan. Tapos yung clinic mo hindi isang kwarto kundi isang barangay, maybe isang city, isang syudad, isang probinsya o dili kaya buong bansa. Yun yung buong clinic mo. At pag tinitignan mo na yung mga pasyente mo on a population level, iba na yung mga nakikita. Ano yung nakikita natin? Anong sakit ng mga Pilipino?
You know, it's so sobrang complex niya kasi interplay siya pagdating mo sa baba, 'di ba? Kasi you can think about perhaps individual behaviors, 'di ba, as one of the components that lead to disease. Pero
Mhm.
kailangan makita natin kasi yung striking sa akin, Leloy and Father, is that when I was on the ground, yung issues na pinakamalaki para sa akin, para sa kalusugan ng tao, it wasn't even related to health. It was road access. It was armed conflict. It was mistrust, like long-standing mistrust with the system. No, it was previous experience. No,
Ano yun,
so
kagaya ng mga ayaw magpabakuna? Yung walang
yes,
tiwala sa gobyerno?
yes. And not
Mhm.
just even vaccines, even just seeking consult. Kasi sa I think common, no, maririnig natin na pumunta naman ako sa health center, walang doktor, 'di ba?
Mm,
Walang doktor,
mm.
walang gamot, no? So that's an experience of people on the ground. And it actually stops them from seeking consult, no? Lalo na kung medyo effort heavy ang pagpunta sa doktor. So I had
Correct. Yeah.
communities that were in the mountains, 2
Mm.
hours yung travel nila just to see me. So imagine if they traveled, tas wala ako dun or wala akong gamot.
Correct.
Or takot sila na sisingilin niyo sila ng mahal. Hindi nila alam na libre yung serbisyo. Yung
Yeah.
paborito kong kwento dito, Father, I think nakwento ko na sa iyo to, Father. But
Mhm.
my father is a tumor surgeon. He's a orthopedic oncologist. And every time pumupunta siya sa conference abroad, nagle-lecture on yung mga case ng orthopedic oncologist, yung mga European at yung mga Amerikano na doktor doon, nagugulat sa mga pasyente niya. Bakit? Kasi yung mga pasyente niya, may mga tumor, may mga cancer tumor na kasing laki ng pakwan o kasing laki ng melon. Never pa sila nakakita ng ganun sa Europe at saka sa Amerika. So, yung mga limb salvage niya, siya lang yung nakakagawa sa Pilipinas lang kasi hindi nila ginagawa yun sa US. Bakit? Kasi sa US or sa Europe, you have a tumor na kasing laki, pag kasing laki na yan ng baseball, punta ka ng doktor kasi may tiwala ka. Pero sa Pilipinas, papahilot mo muna, ah, ipapahinga mo muna. Saka ka lang
Oo.
pupunta ng doktor pag kasing laki na siya ng pakwan and nasa-shock yung mga tao. So meron talagang doon talaga sa medicine nakikita mo mahirap pa rin talaga yung Pilipinas dahil sa kalusugan.
Oo.
In a way we are still very health poor as a result. So paano natin tutugunan yung kawalan ng tiwala sa sistemang pangkalusugan at sa mga doktor?
So for me, if I could add to this, no, it's important to have people on the ground. No?
Okay.
That was something na transformational for me kasi it's not always um, emphasized in our medical education. No? Kadalasan yung focus talaga is the clinical and understandably so. But going to the ground and being somebody who's not there once, no? Imagine natin na pag pumunta ka ng hospital, baka first time mo makita yung specialist. Tapos kung hindi ka mag-follow up, yun lang yung only time na makita mo yung specialist, di ba?
Oo.
Don't really develop a relationship. And
Yeah.
kaya, our topic is health education and yung what I want to highlight is, ang health education, tool lang siya eh. Yung habol natin is people's behavior. Parang how do they decide or make healthy decisions about their health, no? And part of that, even us, when we're deciding, di ba, kung may mag-advise sa atin, ina-appraise natin eh. May tiwala
Mm.
ba ako sa tao na to? Parang well-intentioned ba siya? Yung kanyang track record, does it seem like tumutulong talaga siya sa tao or iba ba yung habol niya? So you really need people on the ground to help navigate these problems with the community.
Yun yung tanong ni Father kanina, no? Fads, yung community healthcare
Yeah,
center,
yung
yung
community healthcare
mahalaga.
center, oo. Kasi, doktora, I think maraming, when was that? Mga 3, 4 episodes ago, no? Si Dr. Solante.
Yeah.
Ang sinasabi niya, ang daming de, mga pagkamatay na napiprevent sana, no? With the proper, with the proper vaccination, proper information. Kaya lang, yun na nga, yung kinakwento ni Leloy na ang pangtao, pagpunta sa doktor kasi laki na ng pakwan, no? Ang tumor. That's a classic example, no? So, ang kagandahan, doktora, nung trabaho po ninyo is that you try to educate them, no? You try to educate them. Pero ang isa rin na alala ko doon sa kwentuhan natin noon, Leloy, is part of the challenge is kasi may government hospital. Let's assume, let's shift a little bit. Nasa urban center tayo. Kaya lang, number one, hindi alam ng tao kung saan yung government hospital. Isang problema yan, di ba? Hindi nila alam na may libreng services, di ba? Tapos pangatlo, yung mahabang pila, no? And yung tao parang, I don't want to use the word tamad. I don't think that's fair, no? But takot or hindi takot, alangan, hindi nakasanayan na may ganong healthcare service, no? And I think basically, maganda rin yung nasabi ni Leloy kanina, di ba? Meron pa rin tayong ganong tradisyon na, dalhin yan sa hilot o dalhin sa, even as far as albularyo, di ba?
Albularyo.
Oo. Di ba? Ipatawas, di ba? Yung mga... So,
At least
doktora,
hindi pa dinadala sa pare, no, Father?
hindi ba?
Hirap na.
Exorcism na yun. Pero doktora, in an urban setting, di ba? In an urban setting, I guess there's a whole different set and dynamics of of primary health care, no? Kasi ang isang tumatak sa isipan ko, siguro mga 10 years ago, may mga kaibigan akong doktor, mahilig yang mag-medical mission. And one time, nag-medical mission sila sa isang city dito sa Metro. I won't mention the city. Of course, depressed area. So merong isa raw 70 plus year old na pasyente, first time niyang nakakita ng doktor.
Mhm.
And they're living in Metro Manila.
Diyos
No?
ko.
So, you realize it's, ang question ko, doktora, di ba, is it because lack of health facilities or is it because lack of public health education, no? And or that and part of the public health education is shifting the mindset of people na wag kayong matakot sa ospital, may government hospital. Of course, the other question then also is walang pamasahe.
Mhm.
Di ba? Walang pamasahe. So, I don't know how in an urban center, doktora, how does it work out?
Actually, Father, yung kwento niyo na first time makakita ng doktor, that's not uncommon, no?
Yeah.
So, yung statistics, if I don't know if it's been updated, but when I first entered public health in 2012, it was 60 to 70% of Filipinos, hindi sila nakakakita ng doktor pag kailangan nila.
Okay.
So imagine coming from that metric and now we're trying to shift to universal healthcare, no? So important talaga ang primary care component, no? Because, primary care is really, dapat yun yung doktor na sumasama sa iyo sa buhay mo.
Okay.
From your child's birth to the vaccinations to, navigating yung mga changes in adolescence, the diseases in adulthood, they're supposed to be following you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yun yung, really, it's a long kind of relationship. Because pag pinag-uusapan na natin yung ospital, tinatawag na yun yung secondary or tertiary level na.
Yeah.
So, yun yung mga tao na may sakit na. And we have to be very, I guess sa Pilipinas, yung sistema natin, 'di ba? Our health system is devolved, no? So, ibig sabihin na hindi standard ang pag-invest ng mga LGU. So, even yung sistema na sasalo kung magkasakit na, iba-iba din depende sa lugar, no? So, you have,
Very localized na, 'di ba, doktora? Supposedly, no?
yes. Yeah, so,
Doctor, I have two questions related to what you're talking about, no? Number one is later on, can we talk about the Universal Healthcare Act, no, or law, which supposedly was one of the major achievements cited by the World Bank, no, of President Aquino's uh, administration, no. Then and second is it realistic for me to, or am I being naive to push our dioceses? Kasi 'di ba nga with Caritas Philippines where I work also, we have operational not naman, I don't want to say control, no, but relationships with 86, hindi na 85 diocese ngayon, meron ng bago eh. Agusan was created into a diocese. So 86 na ngayon. So our dream is to create primary healthcare services, no, as siyempre ang idea niyan is pilot first, make it sustainable, then replicate in the different areas of the diocese, no? So ang question ko related to that, are there government funds that we can tap into? I know we can possibly partner with local government. Nasa kanila ang pondo for this. Is that correct?
I think it's hard for me to say blanket whether it's realistic or not, no? Kasi parang it's more like depende din sa lugar, no? So baka in some diocese mas possible, no? Because some LGUs or local governments mas marami silang resources and they're willing to share, no? But there are really a lot na kahit sa sarili nilang center, medyo hirap eh. Hirap sa paglagay ng resources or funding. Because, I mean, we have areas all over the Philippines na walang doktor, walang health worker. So if you're setting it up also, you're going to hit the same problems, no? Like, let's say 70% of our health workers are in urban centers. Nasa Manila, Davao, Cebu, no? And you're asking,
70%.
and also our health education institutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Doktora, anong naging impact ng Universal Healthcare Act in your field, no?
There are a lot in terms of parang reframing. One was sobrang in-emphasize na ang primary care. No, they're
Okay.
really trying to strengthen primary care systems in the Universal Healthcare Act
Mhm.
because na-recognize nila na yun nga yung first touch point ng mga tao. 'Di ba? Parang universal healthcare, hindi dapat 60 to 70% ng Pilipino hindi nakakakita ng doktor. Dapat lahat
Yeah.
nakakakita
Yeah.
ng doktor kasi sa buhay may point talaga that we need to see health workers, no? And I think they're trying to strengthen the systems, but since it was passed actually in 2019. I was in field pa. So I was watching the news coming out na na-sign na siya and I was so excited. But since then, we're still in the process of um, equipping or capacitating yung mga local governments para yung sistema nila kaya ma-handle yung challenge, no?
Mm.
That more people are being seen. No? And it's also resource intensive. So, marami pong changes sa UHC, parang kung paano yung pera gumagalaw sa mga
Mm-mm.
health facilities because they really need to start putting more funds into the primary care system, no? So, it's really quite a lengthy law and each part you can actually kind of discuss for a whole episode.
But Doktora, ano, maybe how I know this sounds so elementary type of ano, but what are ano kumbaga sa pagluluto? Ano ba Doktora ang sangkap? Let's say I run a parish. I run a parish in let's say in Payatas.
Mm.
What are the ingredients for me to set up a primary healthcare unit?
So, if you're looking lang at the specifics, meron talagang facility requirements, merong staffing requirements, pero para sa akin, gusto ko, like, when you're trying to set up a system, a primary care system, because the facility, hindi siya standalone lang di ba? It has to
Mm.
interact with the different components. Kailangan tinitingnan natin lahat ng building blocks, no? So, yung mga building blocks ng sistema ng health, kasama diyan leadership and governance, so relationship and
Okay.
buy-in ng mga local governments, kasama diyan workforce, no?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
parang how do you interact with their BHW network? How do you
Mhm.
interact with their local health workers, no? How are they compensated and how are they encouraged to take on community level work, no?
Mm.
And there's also different things like technology, data systems. So it's it's a lot. It takes a village to set up a system, and then it
Mhm.
takes a village also to get people to participate in it. No?
Yeah. So, Doktora, basic, let's say, in a healthcare center, let's say I don't have a full-time doctor. Who could take the place? A nurse or a trained healthcare caregiver? And kasi yung basics lang, and then maybe the doctor comes once a week. Is that possible? Is that ako of course doktor, ang philosophy ko palagi is ano, something is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I just want to ask, this is a very concrete question that I'm sure many of our dioceses would ask, no? Tama na ba na meron ka lang isang nurse or even just a trained caregiver? Kasi alam ko, I'm trying to recall at the start of the show nung nag-uusap na tayo. I'm trying to call which area they train healthcare workers. And part of the training nga is just to check on the blood pressure, just to, yung mga basic. And then, ang kinukwento nga sa amin, I'm trying to recall, sorry, I could not remember. Ano lang yung pagka-train ng healthcare workers, meron silang parang kit, para silang doctor, yung doctor's kit nung araw.
Mm-hmm.
Yung may dala-dala kang bag na andun lahat. Pero they take so much pride in being healthcare workers. Trained lang sila, hindi sila nurse, hindi sila ano. Is that possible? Is that something that we, for starters, kumbaga nga, is that something that you would say would be a good start, part of the building blocks?
Yeah, I would, no? Actually, sobrang important component ang health workers natin, community health workers. Because for
Mm.
example, nung COVID, yung response naging barangay-barangay no?
Correct.
And yung tumatao doon, mga BHWs.
Mm.
Ideally, imagine niyo yung BHW, may hawak silang households, no? Tapos
Yes.
What does BHW, what does that stand for again?
sorry, barangay health
Barangay health.
Barangay health, okay.
Yes. So, yung mga barangay health workers natin, yung kanilang responsibility is yung mga households na nasa catchment nila, no?
Mhm.
Ideally, 1:20. Sa ngayon, ayon sa datos, parang aggregate, nagiging 1:70, no? Ang hawak ng mga BHW. So, imaginein natin na how can they really track and be supportive?
Oo.
Kulang talaga tayo ng mga workforce on the ground. And also, Father, when you're talking about pwede ba nurse lang or kailangan bang may doctor, yung experience ko is important ang buong team,
Yes.
but also merong components, meron kaming tinatawag na task shifting, no? May mga bagay na kaya ng mga nurses, may mga bagay na pwede nating also to put on the responsibility of, more community level interventions, no? So, for example, pag bakuna, our nurses are the ones that vaccinate or our midwives. Tapos yung mga health workers, yung mga barangay health workers, sila yung pupunta sa mga bahay para kausapin yung mga tao para mag-promote to participate sa programs, no?
Yeah.
So, you really need the whole team
Yes.
and
So,
look at what you want to achieve, no?
yeah. So, ang basic team, Doktora, would this be correct? Basic team is healthcare worker, a nurse, and a doctor.
Mm.
Basic team yan.
Pwede din po midwife.
Midwife.
Yung
Okay,
wife,
yeah.
yeah, oo. Importante yun.
Mm-mm.
Lalo
In
na sa mga
fact,
probinsya.
in fact, years ago, mga early 2000, I went to one of the provinces. Hindi ko na lang babanggitin. They were funded by USAID for birthing clinics. So sa mga liblib na baryo, merong isang magandang bahay, malinis. It's a birthing clinic.
Mhm.
Midwife ang tumatao.
Yes.
And it's been a tremendous help in terms of yung mortality rate, etc. And yung sanitary, yung kapaligiran, etc. And then may primary care for the mother and then the child, no? So yung mga ganun, Doktora, is something that we can work towards, ano?
I
Yes.
have a question related to that, Father, yung
Yeah.
staffing. Kasi naalala ko, maybe close to 20 years ago, naging issue yung, ewan ko kung issue pa rin siya ngayon, yung sobrang daming nurses na nawawala sa Pilipinas dahil nga napaka-attractive, pumunta sa US, sa UK. Problema pa rin ba yun, Doc? Do we have enough nurses? Or I remember in 2007, si Dr. Jimmy Galveston said the country was exsanguinating nurses. Parang napaka-graphic nung term na ginamit niya. Is that still true?
Yes, it's still very, very true. And it's not just for us, no. It's other low and middle income countries are really losing their workforce to better
Okay.
opportunities abroad. Hindi talaga tayo makakompare sa offerings, no? And even, it's not even just the offerings, it's not even compensation. It's also the state of our health system, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I'm handling 400 patients myself, that's so exhausting, no? So parang quality of life is a concern, ability to get compensated fairly, no? Those are big issues and we're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't know, paano natin sila makukumbinse na manatili sa Pilipinas? Napakahirap sabihin. Isang taong walis at hindi na nagtuturo sa Pilipinas, di ba? Pero yung mga nurse, hindi naman ako nurse.
Interesting kasi when I was assigned as a doctor to the barrio, kinakausap ko yung mga nurses ko kasi I know that's an option for them, no? Eventually, they might consider going abroad. A lot of them want to stay. They want to stay with their family.
Correct.
But it's also parang the compensation. Kahit pag-isipin natin, even if you don't work in the hospital, so baka less toxic, quote unquote, less toxic, no? But sa community, if you work in areas na medyo less developed, you even make less money than the nurses in the cities, no? If you're a government nurse, no? So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at and baka kailangan i-reimagine kung ano yung approach natin. Kasi professionals are really wanted abroad now. Because
Yeah.
everywhere has a global shortage. Global ang shortage ng healthcare workers.
Yeah.
So,
Lalo na nung COVID, no, tumaas talaga yung demand. So, mas lalo pa tayo ata nawalan nung COVID.
yes, and a lot left. A lot left
Ah.
during COVID because very traumatic yung response experience. No,
Ah,
it was
totoo nga.
it's very difficult for the healthcare workers, no? And
Yeah.
parang
Yeah.
isipin din natin na kahit nagre-respond sila, binibigay nila lahat para tumulong sa tao. Meron tayong balita ata yung COVID, tinapunan ng bleach ang nurses, no? So like it's there's there's a lot of things that they have to kind of grapple with when deciding to stay. Na it's not just as simple as itaas natin ang sahod.
Mm.
Totoo
Yeah.
nga.
Yeah.
Gusto
Yeah.
kong kumambyo ng konti dun sa mga sakit naman ng mga Pilipino. Kasi for a long time dito sa Proyekto Pilipino, napag-usapan namin yung malaking health problem na stunting.
Yeah.
So, medyo marami na kaming episodes on. So, maybe we want to move on from stunting and ask, ano pa yung mga ibang health issue ng Pilipino na dapat natin tugunan bukod pa dun sa stunting?
So marami na. And
Okay.
actually, para sa akin, you know, parang outlook just because of the consideration na, you know, with climate change and with a lot of the changes that we're seeing in the environment, medyo nagiging mas frequent na ang mga crisis. So, yung isang really important now, I would say, is yung mga vaccine preventable diseases. So,
Okay.
when I first was deployed, it was the measles epidemic of 2019, and it was the first time we had a polio case in almost 20 years. No, and polio,
Grabe. Oh my
Wow.
God.
and then
Oh
now
my God.
it's back. We had another measles outbreak, but this time in Bangsamoro, in Barm. And then we also had a pertussis outbreak because people are not vaccinating, no, for one reason or another. We also have dengue. No, dengue 2019 had an outbreak also. No, everybody talks about COVID, but right before COVID, we had 3 outbreaks. We had a
Yeah.
huge dengue outbreak in 2019, and we had one again this year. No, and then now you're seeing, di ba parang ngayon, there are 3 typhoons. I don't know when this will air, but right now we know there are 3 typhoons coming and there's so many flooding. Makikita natin, after 1 to 2 weeks, nagkaka-leptospirosis ang mga tao. So,
Yeah.
Yun
so
ba
yung,
yung 'pag sumuong ka sa baha tapos
Yun,
yung
oo.
ang daga you know, papasok sa balat sa balat mo?
yeah, and then it can be deadly, no, if
Mm.
hindi ka nag-inom ng prophylaxis, kung lumusok
Yeah.
ka.
So
No?
in other words, all of these are preventable deaths, no?
Preventable if we get the systems right to address it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The flooding, it's not just a health issue. It's not just providing prophylaxis.
Correct. Yeah.
So definitely there's that. But, you know, we're looking at infectious diseases, TB. We're the 4th highest in incidence in the world. Meron tayong mga,
Bakit why is that so? Bakit ang taas ng TB natin?
you know, TB kasi is an interesting disease because it mimics so many other things. And typically, people will wait before they seek treatment, no? Kasi it's expensive. I think in a previous episode, it was also discussed that the treatment is difficult for a
Mhm.
lot of people, lalo na if they're the breadwinner, no?
Yeah.
And also, living conditions, malapit ang mga bahay ng mga tao, so it's easier to spread. So TB is one. Another is HIV. We're one of the fastest growing epidemics in the world. No?
Wow.
So it's really interesting in the infectious disease side, but sa non-communicable, dumadami na din ang mga may high blood, diabetes, poor diet, no? Poor
Mm.
access to
Mhm.
to nutritious food, no, is a concern.
Yeah. Yeah. So parang
Di
ano, no? Parang ang laki nun.
laki.
Ang laki ng
Dun sa
problema.
dun sa non-communicable, meron ba kayong datos about yung levels of exercise ng Pilipino?
I think not levels of exercise. Sometimes there are mga parang periodic surveys done by the PSA, parang yung National Demographic and Health Survey. I think DOH is also doing a periodic survey on health literacy assessment kung saan tinitingnan din nila kung ano yung behaviors ng mga tao in exercise. But I don't have it right now, no? Kasi it's really not just exercise, it's really a mix, di ba? Para it's the food that we're eating, no? When I went to mga isolated communities in the mountains, I was surprised na parang nandito tayo sa gitna ng nature, tapos they're
Dapat
farming
sagana, oo.
fish, but they're eating instant noodles and they're eating chips because
Yeah.
it's cheaper. So, so yun,
Babalik na naman tayo doon, Pads, sa instant noodles. Kahit anong mangyari talaga, babalik sa instant noodles. Isa sa mga pinakamalaking problema natin, how to get Filipinos eating more than just instant noodles. Hindi naman natin sinasabing masama kumain ng instant noodles, pero dapat may konti namang may diversity at
No, kasi di ba nga,
other sources of nutrition.
di ba nga, I know this sounds stereotype, but it really happens na may mga pamilya, ang pagkain nila instant noodles, yun yung ulam sa kanin.
Pansit ulam, Pads.
Pansit ulam, di ba? So
it's
wow, it's really...
So parang kailangan i-consider, no? So I think it's the cheapest, no? So parang if yung habol mo lang is calories, parang yun na yung calories nyo. So
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
yeah.
Yes.
Yung isa pang segment, because we actually talked a lot about mga kids, pero of course for non-communicable diseases, yung isa pang segment na hindi natin napag-uusapan is yung kalusugan naman ng mga senior cambio naman tayo, yung senior citizens. How is yung public health ng senior citizens natin sa Pilipinas?
So I think it's there are senior citizen directed programs, but I think right now a lot of the focus is really on the early and the adult.
Okay.
But you also have different programs, and I think diba may dapat department for senior citizens to supposed to be looking at their welfare, no? I think kasi when I think about senior citizens, yung natatamaan ko in my experience with them is when you work with senior citizens, meron ka ng hinahabol because of their previous experience with the health system or kung ano na yung alam nila, no? So in terms of their involvement in health, very interesting yung role nila kasi in the communities, they're well respected, pero iba yung pag-intindi nila, no? So baka during their time wala pang bakuna.
Yeah.
Sa mga ibang communities na pinuntahan ko, maririnig ko na ayaw ng grandparents namin magpabakuna yung mga bata. Because buhay pa sila, hindi naman sila nagbakuna, no? And baka hindi naman kailangan. And then it's also parang how they're getting information now, 'di ba? Parang yung mga umiikot sa social media, the things they're being said, medyo the skills of the grandparents and also parang what they know, yun yung nag-i-influence, no? So parang in terms of community level interventions, when I think about it, dapat part talaga sila. But sa ngayon, I think I can see na a lot of the effort is really going to the youth or the young or the children and the medyo adults, no? So
Doktora, siguro parang medyo maiba. Can you share about a successful primary healthcare program on the local level, yung localized na? What would be a model primary healthcare unit or service in a local, on the local level?
I think it will depend, no? Parang I can't do a blanket just because
Yeah.
depende sa local government kung ano yung linalagay nilang resources and
So okay, so number one element is the support of local government.
in the Philippines, yes. I will
Yes,
say.
okay. Yeah, one. Okay. What other element have you seen that would make things work?
So healthcare workers, no?
The presence of healthcare workers, yeah.
So how they are being treated and cared for, no? And how they're being trained because
Okay.
the challenges are changing. So kailangan
Yes.
na-update din sila 'di ba?
Oo.
So
Doktora, pag healthcare worker ka, anong qualification mo in terms of education?
yes,
Anybody can be a healthcare worker that willing to undergo the training. Is that correct?
pag barangay healthcare worker, really it's a volunteer position. It's
Yes.
considered volunteer.
So anybody can volunteer and be trained.
Yes.
Okay.
But it depends kung
Halimbawa
ano.
kami, pag nag-retire kami ni Leloy, pwede kami
Yes. Come volunteer po. Yes.
Okay, no. Hindi, kasi di ba, Leloy, that's a good idea.
Tara, Fads.
That's a good information for people to know. Kasi marami rin ngayon yung mga retired, naghahanap ng gagawin. Di ba? So anyway, yes, okay. So and then what's the next?
Speaking of seniors now, Fads.
Yeah, di ba? What's the next element, doktora? So meron ka ng support ng LGU. Meron ka ng healthcare worker.
So
What
financing is important, no?
Yeah. What would be the basic
Pera.
budget items in a primary healthcare center Doctor, I'll be more specific, parish based. Kasi yun ang aking doon ako may sphere, yun ang sphere of influence ko. Okay, meron akong parokya, we're willing to set aside a room as the healthcare center, okay?
Mhm.
So meron na akong partnership with the local government. We will train the healthcare worker. So what would the basic budget be?
So kasama po doon if what volunteers po ang ating mga health workers, no? So typically kasi largest budget item ang
Yeah.
yung mga personnel, 'di ba?
Yeah.
But also yung mga for the projects or programs that you want to implement, it can be very program specific, no? So
Yes, yes.
if it's a community-based outreach, depending kung ano yung plano nyo in terms of delivering messages to people, no? So kung mag-host kayo ng mga community events, if you're going to be organizing people, so just appropriating budget for that, no? But
Yeah.
also, what I find is, even when I provide information, if people aren't able to do the advice that I give them, like take the medicine, go to the health center, then it's not going to happen. So,
Oo.
parang importante na you have a medicine kasi you have medicine, you have supplies, you have the people to do it, no? Because the prescription, sometimes if I just give a prescription, they don't follow it because they can't afford it, or they'll wait
Mm, mm.
3 months later when they have money to do
Yeah.
it. So,
O kaya, doktora, I've seen cases, may prescription, bibili.
mhm.
Pero ang bibili niya kalahati lang ng prescription.
It's true.
Iinumin niya
Okay.
kalahati lang.
Oo nga.
Yeah. And actually interesting kasi yung maraming pitfalls, Father, eh. Kasi even if they buy it, for example, makita ko sila 3 months later, tatanungin ko, para saan yung gamot na yun? Ano yung pangalan ng gamot? They also don't know. So parang pag nag-uusap kami ng pasyente, sasabihin ko, ano yung gamot na iniinom niyo? Sasabihin ako na, yung puti na maliit or yung dilaw na maliit. Tapos parang kailangan mo medyo parang figure out, medyo mag-Sherlock Holmes ka ng onti. Ano kaya yung sakit or gamot na binigay sa kanya? Pero, it's also not safe to just make assumptions, no? So, there's
Mm.
difficulty kasi yung napapansin ko is baka hindi din naintindihan ng tao why it's important to take it. Why it's important to set aside resources for this. So when nagde-decide sila between kailangan ko bumili ng ganito versus ng gamot ko, yung
Cellphone.
ayun, pwede, no? Baka
Yeah.
bagong cellphone ang mabibili po
Sure.
natin. No? Or baka magpapa-rebond muna tayo. Parang gano'n, no? So, joke lang po yan.
Yeah. So,
Father, I have a closing question for Doc Tetel, Fads, if I may. Kung meron kayong isang pwedeng sabihin sa mga viewers, sa mga Pilipino, ukol sa public health at kung ano yung dapat nilang malaman, ano yun? Pinaka-basic.
I think sa everybody, ang public health hindi natin napapansin if it works well, no? So parang kaya kailangan, because of that, nagiging kadalasan sa mga usapan parang kung health, problema yan ng health sector.
Oo.
Yung experience ko sa community, sa pagbisita ko sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas is kulang kung health sector lang ang gumagalaw, no? Because, the influence and the work that other sectors do, perhaps education, perhaps infrastructure development, perhaps our faith-based organizations. Very, very important ang faith-based organizations because you guys have influence also, no? So parang I think it's important that everybody takes part in the work of public health, no? And this
Mm.
is more for the people who have the agency to reach out to communities, no? Because what I find is, pag iniisip natin ang health education, a lot of the times we're thinking, sabihin mo lang sa tao, sabihin mo na huwag ka matakot sa gamot, sabihin mo na may gamot, matitrito. But it goes deeper no? That like you have to consider the context. And in the context, there are other people that are more influential than the health system, no?
Mm.
So it's important that we all kind of work together. Kasi it was challenging nung COVID before other sectors started joining in, no?
Yeah. Mm.
So we really need to help. You have to recognize na enabling factor talaga ang kalusugan, no?
Yeah.
But it's also something that's difficult to sell, diba?
Mm.
If you're healthy, ba't ako magagastos kung okay naman yung mga tao? Ba't ako gagastos for health, diba? Why will
Yeah.
I invest in it if it's not a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay. So, Doktora, marami hong salamat. Ang dami naming, ewan ko if Lele agree with me, marami ho kaming natutunan, marami rin kaming
Gusto
na-realize
pang
na kailangan
itanong.
pa naming matutunan, di ba?
Oo, marami pang gustong itanong. Oh.
Oo. Siguro kailangan natin ng part 2, di ba, na ano. So, Doktora, maraming salamat po. And Leloy, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Father.
And hopefully again this will, kasi Doktora, yung mga episodes namin, merong may nagbubunga, may mga taong nag-uumpisa ng kanilang pagkilos, no? So maraming pong salamat at ito po ang Proyekto Pilipino at patuloy natin pinag-uusapan ano ba ang magagawa natin para sa kalusugan ng ating mga mamamayan, ng ating bansa, no? So hopefully ho itong episode na ito ay makakatulong sa atin mag-isip, magnilay at sana kumilos, ano ho. So maraming pong salamat. Ito po ang Proyekto Pilipino.